Throughout my life, I've had an interesting journey with eating, especially around how eating affects my health, wellness, and productivity. My dad had diabetes, and I saw how that affected him, so from a young age, I learned how to read nutrition labels and monitor my sugar intake. When I was in elementary school and I was considering to eat or drink something, I would first check the nutrition label to see how much sugar it had. And from a young age, I also kept a tally of how much sugar I had consumed that day and made sure I was staying within a pretty minimal amount. I also grew up as a competitive swimmer. We worked out 6 days a week for 11 months of the year, so I would be eating as much as I could just to maintain my weight and have enough energy for my workouts. In my 20s, I stopped competitive swimming, but I still kept it up recreationally. However, I still ate the same amount and the same way that I did as I was growing up with all the competitive swimming. And so as a result, I gained over 20 pounds and my body fat percentage went above 20%. With a demanding job, a packed social calendar, and a pretty decent amount of disposable income, I ate out a lot. And I probably cooked only about a third of my meals. I didn't really think much about what I ate. I pretty much ate whatever I wanted, and this often included a lot of rice and noodles. I also love to eat a lot. There's this unique gluttonous and hedonistic pleasure that you get when you eat so much that you don't feel like you can take another bite and you're just incredibly full. And to be honest, I got to that point several times a week. Overall, I wasn't very mindful about what I was eating or how much I was eating. I would often be tired in the afternoons and I would need caffeine or a nap to get me through the post-lunch dip in energy. Even though my sugar intake was relatively low, my sodium intake was pretty high. I have a family history of high blood pressure, so the combination of my high sodium intake and my family history meant that I had to start taking medicine to keep my blood pressure under control. During the COVID lockdown and working from home, all of this started to catch up with me. Even though I was cooking a little bit more of my meals, I was still ordering a lot of takeout. Despite exercising a few times a week, I could feel my weight going up and my mood and energy going down. In October 2020, I weighed almost 190 pounds and my scale told me that I was over 21% body fat. I'm 5'6", so that's quite a lot for my height. Something definitely needed to change. In November 2020, I made the decision to completely change how I eat and transform my diet. I knew I wouldn't be able to do it alone, so I hired a nutritionist to guide me. I started a 3-month program where I took my weight every single morning and recorded monthly body measurements to see how I was progressing. I sent my nutritionist a photo of everything I ate and drank, and even though I wasn't tracking exact macros, I kept a rough estimate and relied on my nutritionist to provide feedback and adjust as needed. Overall, the program had 3 phases. The first one was where I minimized calories and carbs to lose weight and get to my target weight. Second was to stabilize my weight loss and maintain my target weight. And then third was to develop habits to make for sustainably healthy eating and make this a lifelong thing that I can continue. The first main change to my eating was adjusting the frequency that I ate and how much I ate per meal. I went from eating 3 large meals a day to 5 smaller meals, which were breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 2 snacks in between each of the 3. The second main change to my eating was adjusting what I ate during each meal. I went from mostly simpler carbs with relatively little protein and veggies to mostly protein and veggies with minimal to no complex carbs. The first few weeks were pretty difficult. I completely cut out carbs but maintained my level of exercise, which included a few workouts a week and walking 3 miles a day. It took an extraordinary amount of willpower to stay disciplined, and I felt hungry all the time. But the results speak for themselves, and I lost over 12 pounds that first month. Overall, I started to feel lighter, both physically and mentally. For the second month, I continued to focus on losing weight and reintroduce carbs back into my diet. I felt great momentum with my progress and lost another 9 pounds. In the third month, I shifted from focusing on losing weight to then maintaining my weight. I now weighed less than 160 pounds and had less than 15% body fat. I felt amazing. I focused on further establishing my eating habits so that I could keep things up after the program ended. It doesn't make sense to lose weight if you can't keep it off, so I was focused on what habits I could do to sustain it. Compared to the challenges of the first month, eating healthy now felt nearly effortless. While the 3-month journey was certainly not easy, it was definitely worth it. It was incredible to see how much I could transform my life with daily focus on my eating for 3 months. Looking back, one of my big reflections has been that my journey to eating healthier isn't so much about what I eat and the physical act of eating, but it's rather psychological. It's changing how I think about food, eating, and nutrition. The shift from eating a lot of food until I felt excessively full to eating only enough food to get me through to the next meal. The shift from mindlessly eating just because I was bored to mindfully eating and being intentional about my eating. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know that I'm all about sharing my learnings. So here's a round of Tim's tips for eating healthier. If you've been trying to lose weight and haven't really made much progress yourself, I highly recommend hiring a nutrition coach. It was incredibly helpful to get their guidance and accountability, and I was able to make so much more progress than I would have been able to make myself. Sleep, exercise, and managing stress all contribute to your ability to eat healthier. It can be overwhelming to try to do all of them at once, so I would recommend only focusing on 1 or 2 of those at a time. In the months leading up to me starting this 3-month nutrition program, I'd focused on improving my sleep, exercise, and managing stress so that for the 3-month period I could fully focus on my eating and not have to worry about the other 3 as much. Establish a good system to operationalize eating healthy. For example, one thing you can try is to spend a little bit of time each week to plan your meals so that you don't have to think much about it during the week. Drink plenty of water to stay hydrated and manage your appetite between meals. Walk every day. I walk 3 miles a day, and it's helped me maintain some light cardio so that I can continue to lose weight even on days where I don't do any intensive exercise. Healthy eating is an essential component of a healthy life. I think of my body like a high-performance car. Fuel it well, and it will perform well. Over the last few months, I've learned so much about nutrition and what it means to eat healthier. I've still got a journey to go and plenty more to learn, but I'm really enjoying the ride. Like this video if it was helpful and subscribe to get more videos like this. Comment below with any tips you have for eating healthier. I'd love to hear them.